Hello everybody. Today we're continuing the series of videos about archetypes and major arcanas of tarot. And today's arcana is the world. I don't know how the sound is going to come out. Let's hope for the best because there is a lot of traffic around, but I wanted to choose the location for this video which will incorporate both and the mountains and the sea and the urban creation of the humanity, which is, the infrastructure we cannot live in the modern world, such as traffic, such as cars and the roads and everything. Archetype world. When we hear about world, first thing that comes to mind is travel. It's the globe, yeah? And I will show you how it looks on the classic Rider-Waite tarot deck, although I have to cover it up because there is some nudity involved and I don't want YouTube to block it. I'm going to cover it up with flower. This is the archetype world. We have a classic Rider-Waite and we have the designer deck, as I like to call them, because anybody can make their tarot cards really, and they have nothing to do with the original picture. However, we'll talk about the original first. Archetype world, people who can channel this kind of energy, this archetype, they're extremely lucky. They're very well taken care of. It seems like the whole world nurtures them and protects them and gives them anything they need at any given moment of time. Why is that? Archetype world is a cycle of completion. When it comes out in spreads, oftentimes it signifies something that has to be ended and something that ends well, with a well resolution, something that peacefully ends, some kind of cycle. We see this stream of flowers around the Virgin, and the flowers or greenery or the bouquet or whatever you might call it, whatever comes to mind, represents the cycle of life. It kind of looks like a snake that eats its own tail, and it creates that eternal motion, the circle of life, yeah? And that circle of life oftentimes looks like the globe, as the globe's shape is circle. The Virgin inside the circle represents our intuition. She's not clothed, and clothing in tarot oftentimes represents the sublime bodies. Since she's not clothed and she only wears a scarf, it means that she has to pay attention to the intuition. She has to learn how to feel, how to be guided, divinely guided, because world oftentimes whispers you messages, but not everybody is capable of recognizing them. And that's when intuition comes in handy. The scarf itself on the original tarot is the purple color, which is the color of crown chakra, the connection with the spirit. In order for us to understand each archetype and each arcana and how to use it in spreads and how to read it, we of course have to dive into every single object on the card. As long as we understand the glyphs, it can make much more sense to us once we put all those spreads together, or once we want to incorporate every archetype in our life. That's why I'm so detailed in these videos, and I'm even much more detailed in the archetypal psychology course. But let's go back to the glyphs. The glyphs on the card, we see four heads. We have the human head, we have the eagle, we have the lion, and we have the bull. And those are three-dimensional measures this world is consistent of, such as height, which refers to eagle, such as length, which refers to lion, and such as width, that refers to the bull. But what about the human? The human head represents the time. As we know, we live in this special continuum that's all subjugated to the laws of time. The day changes into the night, and then the day happens again, and this circle is eternal. And the time, there is only 24 hours in a day. But those who manage to penetrate into the depths and mysteries of the world arcana, they can actually know how to change the timelines if they need to. There is this expression, time flies fast when we are having fun, and there is some kind of mystery hidden in it, because indeed with certain people, when we spend time, we notice how fast the time flies, versus when we go somewhere where we're not really enjoying the process, like the job that we don't like. The time seems to flow much slower, right? The archetype world, or peace, some practitioners calls it peace. This archetype also shows that person is always taken care of, no matter what kind of challenges you are facing. Maybe you need more money for the bills and rent for the end of the month. Practitioners of the archetype world always have their necessities some way, somehow, miraculously taken care of. Somebody calls it luck, but in reality, this is just a process where the person is truly united with the universal flows. The person means no harm to anybody. The person is a practitioner of either some kind of religion where you live by the commandments, like Christianity, 10 Commandments, or you live by the example of no harm, and meaning no harm to anybody else, and performing your duties accordingly, and wishing everybody well around you, basically creating peace in any environment you're in. You are a peacemaker, and you are that person who establishes harmony no matter what it is, whether it's within your own family or maybe it's at the work circle you're hired and spend a lot of time of your day. No matter where you go, there is an energy of peace around you, and you know how to cultivate it. There is some kind of wisdom to the people who can channel the archetype world, and that wisdom really allows them to get them through life. They oftentimes notice that when they are in need, when they have any problems, they seem to have resolution right there, fall from them as I forgot the word in English to it, but it's a reference where the blessing falls from the sky, and it's very biblical. There is a lot of passages about it in the Bible, in other holy scriptures, when that blessing comes from the skies, comes from the God itself. And that can manifest in all types of ways. For example, you don't have any food and you happen to have your relative come over to your house and bring you a lot of food and fill up your fridge, right? Or you're having some other financial hardships, and some way, somehow, just when you need that help the most, the help comes from the most unexpected source. There is a lot of interesting references to sexuality throughout the whole archetype journey we're going to be touching upon. But one of them is hidden here in the glyphs of this red scarf. This another scarf or red cloth that covers up the flower circle. It's red color. Red color oftentimes does represent the root chakra, which is connected to our sexual energy. And for everybody who starts practicing any kind of esoteric knowledge, any kind of yoga teaching, any kind of meditation practices, those people understand how hard it is at times to control that energy, because it's the energy of life. Sexual energy is the energy of life. It's that ever lasting motion that continues us to be and to procreate. But when it comes to understanding these sublime bodies and energies, it's very important to know how to curve it. It's very important to know how to tie it, right? How to control it, how to be able to focus on the task, whatever the task you're focused on, instead of thinking about it all day long. On the designer decks, the archetype world can be depicted in any kind of picture. I picked this one because I really like their design particularly. This lady also, she's onto something, like she knows something. She is very serene, the whole expression. She's holding something that represents the clock, some kind of ancient, interesting clock with a twist. And it's also the sun and moons around it. And she is standing behind the big full moon, which also oftentimes represents fertility and oftentimes represents the deeper intuition. She also holds the bird that symbolizes the wisdom in any knowledge in any tradition. It's the owl. Owl are traditional birds that represents the wisdom and the sacred knowledges. In order to summarize the archetype world, we also gotta refer to the sticks or the wands that the Virgin is holding in both of her hands, and left and right. Those, as you can guess, refer to the both hemispheres of the brain that we all have. The right one, which is the creative, which is the intuition, and artistic perspective of the world, and the left one, which is logical and analytical. She owes both of them. In the spreads, when you see the card world, oftentimes it signifies that there is some changes that happen to the person, and the changes came to an end, and it's some kind of complicity, some kind of resolution that's occurring in any life segment the inquirer was asking about. And world, when it comes to understanding people, oftentimes means that the person is of a different ethnicity, maybe different skin color, different religion, or different part of the world. Or two people are just made of the different dough. They're just both belong to different worlds. It all depends. It also very important to see what other cards are around, and what other things are escorting the whole spread, right? What other kind of combinations coming out. So once you pay attention to all those details combined together, this is how you can make a bigger picture and make the best out of each spread. And yeah, you see how magical is the space, the universe. When I was just touching up about the different people at different ethnicities, different skin color, it's like the whole universe is hearing us right now and shows us that we are all connected. Once we think about something, we literally can see it manifesting. And people who know how to channel the world arcana or world archetype, they're very, very liked by others as well, because they have that energy of peace and calmness around them, which draws people naturally to them and makes them wanted in every company, because they can always make things better. They can always bring some time of soothing energy with them to any particular group of people. These are the wisdom makers. These are the wisdom knowers. And world archetype is very complicated by nature. It has a lot going on. As you can see, like the card itself represents a lot of different things. But with every step of the fool's journey we embarked, there's going to be much, much more mysteries to discover. And I'm going to see you on the next video, and it's going to be Archetype Judgment, which is the 20th major arcana. If you're interested to study more profoundly how to read tarot cards, how to understand people's archetypes and psychology of masses, I invite all of you to my Archetypal Psychology course that is online and that is in your disposition, and you can study it at your own pace, and it's yours forever once you purchase it. I want to make it more available for people, because the world is changing literally, and tarot has so much more popularity day by day. People really naturally want to know more about it, so I want to make it more available to everybody who wants to learn, and I invite you to get started with me. Let's do it in September. The discount is going to be valid throughout this September, and it's going to be 50% off. Thank you very much for watching. Please send it to like-minded friends, whoever always wanted to learn tarot. And I really appreciate your time. I'll see you on another videos. Bye-bye.